Hello, my name's Peter Byers. I'm a happily retired old fart. I'm in my early to middle 70s and as happy as a sandboy. Now, I shop at Tesco's, at the Yedding Superstore, and at a convenience store on Lady Margaret Road, Southall. And I would love to be able to keep on shopping at these stores, but there seems to be some sort of conspiracy to make me go to one of their competitors, Waitrose, in fact, because Waitrose sells stuff that Tesco's don't. Now, I did think I'd got an answer, and I dreamt up a scheme. I explained it to two previous managers at the Yedding branch, and one of them gave me a painful I'm listening look while I explained it, and said, well, thank you very much. And I knew he was going to take no notice of it. The other one said, listened patiently and said, look, Mr. Byers, we know about stocking and selling groceries. You know about buying and using groceries. Why don't we both stick to the things that we do best? And I thought, you supercilious bugger, you. But there you are. I mean, it felt a bit like somebody patting me on the head and saying, keep taking the tablets, Peter. But anyway, I just thought this time I'm going to make a video, I'm going to put it on Twitter, and maybe somebody in Tesco's will have a serious think about it rather than completely ignoring me. And I'm sure if they did, not only would they keep my business, they'd bring lots more business to their stores, principally to their superstores. Now, first of all, I suppose I ought to quickly tell you that in my early years, I don't know, 60 odd years ago, I was dragged up in a little village in Lincolnshire called Metheringham. There was a little grocer's shop with a very professional chap running it, a chap called Billy Yates, and I love him to bits and owe him a lot of what I am now. And he used to call me his Saturday lad. Well, not only was I Saturdays, I enjoyed it so much I snuck in, but sometimes before I went to school and after I'd finished school. And he said, there are two things to this business, Peter. One is to get the customers in the shop, and when you've got them in the shop, you look after their every need to the best of your ability. Well, his means of getting them into the shop was to leave the shop doors open, and he'd got a great big cast iron wheel grinder, coffee grinder, and he would put me on a wooden box in front of it, and he'd say, you've got 2 minutes turning that, Peter. And the smell was to die for. I don't like coffee, but the smell was to die for, and there's no doubt it brought people in. Well, he taught me, as I say, how to grind coffee. He taught me how to slice bacon on a Burkle, great big cast iron wind up slicer, and I didn't lose any fingers, and I could do it quite well. He taught me how to take a 56-pound box of butter and another of lard and pat them into half-pound packs and wrap them up in greaseproof paper. And he also taught me the trick of introducing a little bit of water in each one, and I ought to be able to get one or two extra pats. But there you are. He also taught me another thing, and that was how to weigh off sugar into thick blue, I don't know what the material is, but very thick blue bags, and fold the top so you could turn the bag upside down and the folding didn't give way. You didn't need any sellotape or whatever. But the other thing he taught me was, if somebody went in and said, "Have you got any something or other, Mr. Yates?" he would say, "No, but I can get it for you." And he'd got a little book, and he'd write it down, and he'd write the person's name down. If he knew them and trusted them, he wouldn't take any deposit. If he didn't know them or didn't trust them, because they'd conned him once before, he would say, "I need a deposit," and that was it. And he would start telephoning and chasing around to buy the stuff for him. He also, just by the way, taught me how to ride a Pashley grocery delivery bike, and also to pack groceries into empty cardboard boxes. And we used to have lots of fun and competitions to see which of us could do the best packing. But anyway, that's enough of me, but it gives you just a little bit of justification for me daring to make a suggestion to the mighty Tesco's. I have asked various managers in the Tesco superstore, "Could you get me something that you don't stock at this minute?" "Yes, Mr. Byers, yes, tell the desk, the, what do you call it, customer service desk, and we'll get it for you. We'll have it in a week." Go back 2 weeks later, "Where is it?" "Oh, we can only do it for stuff that's on our lists, and that's not on our lists." And I thought, you plonker, why didn't you tell me that to start with? But anyway, the thought goes through my mind that at the moment Tesco's are trying to drive me into the arms of Waitrose. A little bit further. They've got everything I buy weekly from Tesco's and 2 or 3 things that I like, and Tesco's don't stock. One is mellow yellow cold pressed rapeseed oil. I've tried lots of rapeseed oils, and I think the mellow yellow from Northampton is the best. Another thing that they have is it's actually own brand, so and that's boxes of Rosti, potato Rosti. And that, I know I shouldn't be so idle. I should grate my own potatoes and squeeze and mess about with them, but if I can buy them in a box or a tin and use them, then I like that. That's good for me. They also sell Lincolnshire poacher cheese, and I suppose I spend something like £20 a month on Lincolnshire poacher cheese. And they also sell something called, I'm probably not pronouncing it, a French garlic mayonnaise called, I think it's Deloise. And I've tried lots of them, and I've tried some of the garlic mayonnaise from Tesco Superstore, and it's different to the Deloise stuff, and I like the Deloise stuff better, and I'm prepared to pay for it. Money is an object. I'd be happy if I was a multimillionaire, but I'm not. But I don't care that I pay a bit more, maybe at Waitrose than I would have done at Tesco's. So my suggestion would be that because there is spare time that I've observed so many times between the customer service at the customer service counters in the superstore, why don't the people behind there be prepared to take orders? Now, I'm not asking Tesco to stock these things. If they can and they choose to, then that's all to the good. But I know from speaking to several of the suppliers, and I've forgotten one, Roker cheese, crispy biscuits and cheese sticks. Tesco used to sell them, but there's no call for them, sir. We don't stock them anymore. The head office have told us there's no call for them. And I say, well, there is a call, because I've called for them, but there you are. So that's just another item that Waitrose have. Um, but speaking to some of the suppliers, they say to me, look, we don't want to get involved with Tesco's. Now, I don't know whether they're sensible, silly, reasonable, or whatever. I do know they sell a product that I want to buy. Now, maybe if Tesco's formed a wholly owned subsidiary called something like We Will Get It, and stuck a uniform on the bodies, one or more bodies behind the customer service counter, We Will Get It, and were prepared to pay in advance, cash with order or whatever, cash on delivery, and not enter into long contracts with these suppliers, but just get the stuff. I'm prepared to pay in advance, in full for it if needs be. I reckon that people would say this is old-fashioned grocery. It's just like Billy Yates used to do in that little Metheringham village. Well, that's the suggestion. I don't know if anybody of any consequence will get to see this, but I guess that several people on Twitter will look at it, and they might think it worthy of comment. But there you are. Enough of me. Thank you for watching and listening to me ramble on. That's it. Goodbye.